So guys, out of the blue I have an issue. I just came here to the store and good thing I'm still at home. This is not happening on the road, but look at this problem. I go to turn it on, nothing's happening, there's an error. At this point, I'm not sure what's causing this error. What I'm going to attempt to do is, first of all, I'm going to try to connect my computer check engine code, and I will see if anything shows up. Also, I'm going to try to disconnect the negative battery cable and try to see if this will solve the issue. I have no idea what's going on. There could be something with the fuse panel. It could be something with the ignition switch. And another thing that's weird is it's not really shifting my transmission either. I cannot, like usually if you twist your key all the way to the on position, you could at least shift it. I was able to do that before, but I'm not able to do that. But you may be not sure, like never knew this, but if you stick your key down in here, actually use the actual key right here in that hole, this will actually push the release valve in there and you can actually shift it like that. I just shifted it, but using one hand will not really work. So I'm going to pause this video and try to see what's going to happen. My radio comes on, but here I have my diagnostic thing plugged in. It's not a very good one. Oh, look at that vehicle speed sensor. A speed sensor, incorrect gear ratio. Wow, that's not cool. Lost communication with the vehicle dynamic control module. Lost communication with TCM, mass or volume airflow A circuit, mass or volume airflow circuit, cylinder 1 glow plug circuit, glow plug heater circuit, cylinder 2 glow plug circuit, invalid data received from instrument panel cluster control module, O2 sensor circuit, range performance. Okay, I had this one, incorrect gear ratio. Wow, 11 codes. This is weird. This is like out of the blue. I mean, sprinters are very unique like that. I mean, all of a sudden you could just have something like this happening. So I could definitely see, I'm going to probably have to disconnect some computers and disconnect the negative battery cable, see if anything will shift over. But one of the things I'm going to try to do is, this might be also, well, I was going to say mass airflow sensor, but at this point it's not starting at all, so that cannot be causing it. So I'm just going to exit it out and I'm going to try to see if I could erase the codes first and see if this will solve the issue. I like to start with the most simple things first. No, nothing. Okay, next thing I'm going to try to do is disconnect the battery cable. Okay, I disconnected the battery cable and I reconnected it. And still nothing's happening. Okay, next I'm going to try something that it almost sounds like it has nothing to do with it, but at the same time it might. I'm going to climb underneath my transmission and I'm going to try to disconnect the actual, this transmission lever thing. I wanted to kind of get out and show you guys. When you disconnect it, I'm kind of at an incline and I don't want the van to roll on me, so I'm going to put a mat underneath. I'm going to climb and I'm going to disconnect the lever and try to adjust it all the way back. Okay, you see that little lever there, the plastic one? I'm going to undo it and I'm going to try to push the lever all the way back and see what happens. I disconnected the lever, I pressed it all the way back and I've heard a little clink. Let's see if this is going to solve the issue. Okay, I'm now inside of my Sprinter and nothing's happening. So let's see if I could put it back into neutral. This is so weird. Why I can't put it into neutral? This is so strange. I'm trying to actually, this might be the cause of my problem, because usually if you have your key in ignition, you should be able to twist it forward and put it into position. So this is possibly what's going on, but I'm wondering that somehow my transmission got out of gear inside where the shifter is. So I'm going to try to see if I could play with that a little bit. This is weird. When I go underneath the transmission, I cannot actually shift the transmission over there either. Cannot move it or nothing, so I have no clue what's going on. I'm going to try to position this in neutral. I was able to put this transmission into neutral. I've used this little tiny screwdriver. I could use my key, but I don't want to actually use my key because I do have a screwdriver. And nothing's happening. It's also not starting. At this point, I'm starting to think the problem, and I cannot actually pull my transmission out of the shifter. So I'm going to leave it in neutral, twist the key back. I'm going to try to go underneath, see if I could move the lever now. I have no clue what's going on. I've been climbing underneath, I've been shifting it to different positions, and it keeps saying that start error. So like, I don't know what it is. The only other option I think I have is to try to see if maybe this has to do with a starter somehow, and see if I could actually stick a screwdriver in like underneath and try to see if I could actually start it like that. Vehicle speed sensor. Looks like we have lost communication with TCM again, lost communication with vehicle dynamic control module, mass or volume airflow A circuit. Okay, I'm going to try the next thing is disconnecting the mass airflow sensor. I tried disconnecting the mass airflow sensor. It's currently disconnected. It still does not do anything. It's just kind of dead there. But there is a couple giveaways. For some reason, if I put it into on position like this and I put my brake pedal on, I cannot move it out of shift. And that is weird. It's supposed to shift, and it almost, you know, makes me feel like a newbie, because if I didn't have those other sprinters, you know, I don't think, you know, this would be shiftable, but it's not shifting. This is what's so strange. But come to think of it, like, you know, that I'm remembering now, when I bought a used sprinter with this same transmission in there, it actually would also not shift. So I'm not sure, you know, what's going on there, but actually I tried to shift it and it would not shift, but the battery was completely dead. Okay, so you would kind of think maybe it was because of the battery, like something was not releasing or something. But I was always able to shift the transmission into neutral by actually pushing something in there. So I have no clue like why, you know, it's not shifting now, because it was working before and it was working really nicely. Like everything just started right up, you know. I had like a normal day. Besides those lights that I was showing you guys earlier, they happened to come on. It's a good thing that I actually got them on video. This could also be an indicator to this problem, but it's I'll say, you know, speed sensor and a bunch of those other things. It just seems like I'll have a field day, try to diagnose all this kind of stuff tomorrow. Good thing I have some other sprinters, so I'll have to do some research and, you know, try to see what's going on. It's a good thing that I have all kinds of parts at home, you know, 3 other sprinters that I could do something with, but this is definitely not something I was hoping for. But good thing this happened before I left home. I was thinking about leaving, thinking, you know, I installed the transmission, everything's going to be working good. But I think tomorrow I'll have to, besides the diagnosing, I'll have to probably remove the oil pan from the transmission, drain all the transmission fluid, and see if the lever is in the right position while the valve body is. Because for some reason I'm kind of thinking it's probably not. And you know, I'll have to try to see about that. I just don't understand, you know, what could be causing this. This is why I feel you guys. This is why I did this channel, for this type of stuff. Is to try to, you know, share my knowledge, and, you know, if you guys could share your knowledge, and then everybody's going to be happy, because these sprinters could be a headache. And I have a new engine on here. This engine is only 200,000 miles. I should not be having this type of issue, but apparently I am. So I don't know. So, you know, looks like I'll let you guys know what's going on, okay, in my next video. Okay guys, I think I have a theory as to why my Sprinter will not start. Why am I getting this start error? Nothing really changed. I'm still in the parking lot. Looks like I'll need to call the towing company to come get me. But as you can see here, I have placed this little piece here for the wheel, and what I've done is I wanted to kind of test this, okay? is, will the transmission actually shift into neutral? And what's kind of scary is I go inside and I put the transmission into neutral and it does not roll. Okay, so the vehicle should be rolling at this stage. It will not roll. So this would kind of explain like why I cannot actually shift the shifter, because it's just something's broken, I think, inside of the transmission. Possibly the piece with the valve body, there's like a little lever. I know it's plastic. It is moving inside. I could, like, if I disconnect my latch from the shifter, like, that does move. But I don't understand, like, why will my transmission not actually move into neutral? I do not understand that, because I disconnect the actual cable that controls the shifter, and by me actually disconnecting the cable and moving the lever back and forth, that should actually cause my transmission to go into neutral, and it's not going to neutral. So I do not even like understand, like, how will they actually put it into neutral in order for me to get towed, unless we'll have to just lift up the front end and disconnect. Probably I'll have to disconnect the actual I forgot that word for a minute there. Drive shaft. I'll have to disconnect the drive shaft. Good thing I have all the tools with me. I'll be able to disconnect it, and I'll have to like tie it up there or something, or I might just have to pull it out of the actual gear. I don't really want to pull it out because they're kind of like a pain to put back. You have to almost like bang them in there. But yeah, this is where I'm at, you know. This is unfortunate, but it's just, I don't know, it's just something's broken. Because, and also like another thing is happening, okay guys, if you have this problem where it doesn't start, you could actually, you know, take your vehicle while it's still in park and rock it back and forth like really hard. I'm actually like a little bit in an incline here, like more like it's going down, okay, like downhill. So my van should have just like rolled if I put it in neutral. But if you guys put it into park and try rocking it back and forth, sometimes that actually will cause your van to start. Like, but what I'm noticing, because I have this hood open here, as I'm rocking it back and forth, my engine's rocking. So this means to me that my transmission's locked up, okay, and it's trying to actually spin the transmission as it's moving back and forth, because it looks like I'm in gear. This is probably why I'm getting a start code. I'm in gear. This is my theory. I'm in gear and I cannot actually go anywhere. And the solution for me to actually get out of gear, I'm almost thinking would be removing the actual transmission oil pan, but first draining all the oil, removing the pan, and like removing the valve body or something, you know, because then that should at least, you know, take it out of gear. But then again, I'm wondering, I mean, can I actually take it out of gear on that? I'm gonna let you guys know in the next clip if I can or not. Guys, if you have a starting code issue like I'm having right here, see, start error, it will actually not start right now for me. Looks like my kids has been messing with my turn signals here. Of course I have a totally different error. This is why, you know, I have this error. But if you guys have a starting error like this, most likely your Mobilizer does not work, or your like ignition key. There's a solenoid that controls this. But number 7 fuse underneath your dash column, if you remove the number 7 fuse, check if it's burnt. Usually if you replace that, because it also controls the solenoid and horn, it will actually maybe a vehicle will start up. But I have a problem where my transmission, it's not shifting. It's probably like in first or second. It's in some kind of gear and it's not shifting. I just want to kind of throw this out there. This usually works. There's another way of tricking Immobilizer, is by putting your key in start position, remove the battery cable from the negative ground, and put it back on there. It sort of like bypasses like the key. Then just try to start it. Sometimes they start like that too. So that's just kind of like to help you guys in case you have this issue. You know, with me, it's going to be transmission. I'm going to film whatever is going to be the issue. I'm going to show you guys, so you will learn from me and we'll learn together. See you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching. Take care and God bless you. Guys, I have a little bit more advice. There's a number 15 fuse over here somewhere underneath. I don't know why it says number 15, but sometimes one of these fuses gets blown. It's also, you're gonna get a start code. But I would check all of these fuses. It seems like this one has a tape over it. Like I've read something online that it had a tape over it, and it would be like this engine fuse if it's blown. I don't believe any of these fuses are blown. But there was a mention of a number 15 fuse that was out, and it was over here underneath the seat. So I'm just gonna check some of these number 15s. I have a little thing that you could use to check, but it's not really being handy right now. I could also use my camera, I guess, to try to see if any of them is burnt. Looks like they're all good. But anyways, that's something I wanted to add. I hope that helps. Also guys, there's a fuse 16 and 17 that could cause a problem. There's a number 7 fuse that I pointed out earlier, but there's a 16 and 17 that causes a similar issue. Let me try to get in here to see if I could actually see if any of them is possibly this. No, this one is maybe not good. Let me see here. It's kind of hard to see. Yeah, that one is okay, which was the number 16. And here's the 17. I'm sorry if you guys could not see that. It's kind of hard to film from this side. But anyways, looks like mine are fine. Of course, my start issue has to do with the transmission, which is, I think this is going to be one of the new problems that happens. Well guys, I do have to get my Sprinter pulled. This is not as bad as I thought. I still have the starting issue, starting code, start error code that's on my Sprinter. But at least I know it actually goes in neutral. In the beginning, maybe I just don't have enough manpower. I'm kind of like sitting here at an incline. I try to place my Sprinter in park and neutral and stuff. But when I place it in neutral, I could not actually move the truck over. But with that gentleman's help, I was able to actually move it. So I know at least the van is in neutral, because I was kind of afraid, thinking that it's not in neutral and I'll break the transmission. So I was thinking about disconnecting my drive shaft. But what's kind of weird is I was not able to start it at all. I tried using a screwdriver to push on my starter. I had my wife and that guy to try to actually to try to spin the starter, like to try to put the ignition in the starting position. It was still not doing anything. The starter was spinning. It's kind of like spinning. Sometimes it clanks a little bit, which is kind of weird. I'm not sure if it's the teeth are rubbing against something or I don't know. But also, when you put the starter, like when you put the key in the ignition, you cannot actually move the shifter. You have to use that special unlock. So I'm not understanding like why I cannot actually shift. Now, if I go underneath the van and try to disconnect the shifting knob, the actual piece, the plastic piece, you unlatch it, then the transmission will shift. It seems almost like my transmission cable in my box is not shifting. So it possibly kind of makes sense because those solenoids are not opening or something. Maybe they're bad. That's in the shifting column. But I never messed with that stuff, so I don't know exactly what I'm talking about as far as the actual shifter goes. So I'm kind of hoping I could figure this out and help you guys out, because I've been doing my research. I haven't really got any solid piece of information about what to do about this problem. So I think this is going to be great help for you guys if you run into this issue, exactly what you're gonna need to do. I have 3 other Sprinters at home, so I do have some extra parts to throw around and try to get to the bottom of the problem, to try to find out exactly what's going on. And that's actually I want to share with you guys, that way you don't actually throw parts in it and it's going to cost you like thousands of dollars, because it might be something little, like I was trying to explain to you with the sensors and stuff, like with different you know, like number 7 underneath the steering column, and we had the number 16 and number 17 fuses. Basically mine are good, but I've seen that on the internet, you know, some people are talking about they replaced those and it started right up. I think what I'm gonna do is, once I actually get this truck home, I am going to disconnect the battery cable, and hopefully the codes could reset. In the meantime, I could actually research my codes that I did, you know, receive on the thing. So it could be various things. I mean, it could be maybe speed sensor. It could very well be. And the speed sensor for this van, I believe it's located on top of the transmission. It could be. Yeah, it is actually. It's actually located right there, not on top of the transmission, but in front. Where the top of the transmission is, it's towards the front of the engine. That's where the speed sensor is. So I'm gonna need to mess with that and pull another one off another van and try to see if that's going to start it. But yeah, you know, it's going to be some trial and error, you know, to try to figure this out. But man, it's definitely not fun. I feel you guys, if you have this issue, I totally understand, you know, you guys. And this is why I have this channel, to explain these things, because I don't know them all the time myself. I know some of you guys call me an expert, and as you can see, this expert getting his van being towed and stuff. I don't actually think I'm an expert, but I do know a lot about sprinters. And this is how I learned from different things breaking, and I just basically learn it like that. And when I fix it, this is how I know it. And when you don't know it, I mean, it's a huge headache, you know, because you're thinking, you know, what to do, how much is this going to cost me, can I do this myself, can I have the dealer do it? Most of the stuff I'm going to tell you guys, you could just do yourself and you could save a bunch of money. This electrical stuff is the only stuff that sometimes is mind-boggling, you know. But anyways, this is going to be the end of the video. Man, I already ended so many times, but I wanted to make sure this is going to be jam-packed with information for you guys, because you're not going to worry about how long this video is, you know, when you have this problem. And I'm not going to either. I will watch anybody's video that's an hour long if they could tell me exactly what's going on with the Sprinter. But I've searched YouTube, I found some stuff in Spanish. Maybe they got the good information, but I cannot understand it. So I'll get it in English, you know, to you guys. And of course, people across the world that understand English, it's a widely spoken language, could understand what I'm talking about. Even though I'm Russian, I'm bringing it to you in English. Now, if some of you Russians out there, you don't understand what I'm talking about, let me know. I will make the video in Russian. But most Russians understand because, you know, they live here somewhere in the US. It's kind of weird how my front end sits low like that. Maybe it's not. But anyways, that's it.